I'd like to elaborate on my last points from last meeting.
Okay.
As I mentioned, Kent Sanford has a direct conflict of interest as an employee of Gilmer County as a Joint Development Authority Director, specifically with regard to the Gilmer or Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. As you know, he and the Paige Green were the applicants from the Chamber of Commerce who began the process with the DCA to get us into what we understood to be an educational opportunity, which was fine everything was fine at that point, but when the county created a resolution, and in turn, the cities joined in the resolution, and the understanding was that they were going to be acting to gain information as a, quote, cohort on behalf of the 3 municipalities, with Kent Sanford at the helm of that. And I say he was the helm of that because it was stated during that resolution, when the resolution by the county was adopted, that he was going to be the person to take the lead. So now we have elected government official, I'm not elected, an appointed government official by this board, serving on a committee as a cohort representing a specific item pertaining to addressing housing in Gilmer County. If you look at the definition for cohort, it is a people of collective interest representing a government or individuals, okay? So they were identified, Kent Sanford, Carleen Ferguson, and John Marshall were identified as members of that cohort as being on that, because they were on that committee. They, as then elected officials, took part in private meetings outside of public purview, which is in direct violation of Georgia Sunshine Law. Now they can try to get around that and say, no, this was a private study group. But the legal definition is that when you create a resolution, they are acting as members of this governing body. So every time they met in private, and when they made decisions on behalf of Gilmer County citizens as a cohort and members of a committee created by resolution, every one of those instances was a violation of Georgia Sunshine Law. And I am once again going to call for the removal of Kent Sanford from the Joint Development Authority as Joint Development Authority Director, and I will add to that censure of Carleen Ferguson and John Marshall. Thank you.
David, it's my understanding in terms of the Georgia Sunshine Law that we actually can talk if we're not discussing how we're going to vote on something or want to talk about it.
You can communicate facts,
You can communicate facts.
not opinions or suggestions.
So I will ask you just to offer an opinion at a later date on whether or not something like that going forward would be a violation. I'm not interested in looking backward, but if you would just kind of weigh in on that for us.
Sure.
Okay. Anybody else?